It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet are vying for the chance to go on to the semifinals where they will meet Bond Mill Elementary. Let's meet today's teams. First from Adelphi Elementary, say hello to Rofi Paul, Dalvin Den, and Jennifer Placido. And from Carole Highlands Elementary School, say hello to Akene Chukwe, Rima Werawo, and Jalen Moreno. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, our game board reflects the difficulty of the questions. The easier ones, they're on the left, worth 5 and 10. The tougher ones, 15, 20, ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. And at the end of the 2 rounds today, the winning team will go on to the semifinals. So we have a lot at stake. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Dalvin, would you try that red team buzzer? Looks and sounds good. Good luck to you, to Rofi and to Jennifer. And Rima, would you try the green team buzzer? It sounds and looks good, too. Good luck to you, Jalen and Akene. Congratulations on making it this far in the competition. You guys are just great students. Let's have a good game. May the better team win. We go alphabetically A before C. So Adelphi and Dalvin, let's play the bowl.
Green things 5. Green things 5, please.
Green things 5 points. Teams, a small plant has what same name, it has the name that can follow Brussels and bean. Adelphi.
Sprout.
Sprout. Brussels sprouts and bean sprouts. A small plant. Yes, indeed. You're too young to remember the Jolly Green Giant. His little kid was called Sprout. Go, Red.
Zoo Parade for 5, please.
Again, please.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, you talk about metamorphosis. Countless fairy tales will turn a frog into a prince if you do what to it? Adelphi?
Kiss it.
Yeah, kiss it. That's right. You kiss a frog, you get a prince, or you get warts. Either way. Go, Red.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, it turns out we do not have a neuronal spare tire. No, it's a myth that we use just 10% of this organ. Adelphi?
Brain.
Your brain, that's right. We're certainly using all of our brains here today, not just a 10%. So we don't have spare there. Mother Nature doesn't like a lot of extra out there. Go, Red.
Let's get physical for 5, please.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, bubble wrap that we all love to play with illustrates that this is a very good insulator. Carole Highlands. Yes, ma'am. Jalen? Adelphi? Bubble wrap illustrates that this is a very good insulator.
Plastic.
Air. Air inside the bubbles. You know, you pop them, the air, that's what provides the insulation. Okay, Red, try again.
Science Potpourri for 5, please.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, your mother was right. Doctors have come out again and said eating one of these a day will keep the doctor away, Dalvin.
Apple.
Apple. Eat an apple a day, especially if you're 50 or over. Apparently, it is just great medicine. Go, Red.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, according to the Oxford Press, selfie was the most famous word last year. Carole Highlands, I think you jumped in too soon. Adelphi, selfie was the #1 new word last year according to the Oxford Press. But Merriam-Webster Dictionary says that this other word was #1 because it was Googled more times than any other. It is a word that is part of the name of our show.
Science.
Science it is, indeed. Not ball. Go red.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, because he was criticized for his classification system, Carolus Linnaeus got even with one of his criticizers, and he named one of these nuisance plants after the man who criticized him. What do we call these nuisance plants that we like to pull out? Delphi.
Weeds.
Weeds, that's right. He named a weed after him. How's that for immortality, huh? Go red.
Zoo parade for 10, please.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The gestation period of an elephant is 2 full years, which is another way of saying that a female elephant is what for 2 years, Adelphi?
Pregnant.
She is pregnant for 2 years. That's right. Okay, go green.
Body systems for 10, please. Oh, sorry.
Are we correct? Is it the red team still? All right, go again, Delvin.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if you're sending in a sample of your DNA to an ancestry company, you will take a sample of your cells from the inside of your buccal cavity, which is the body part that has the same name as one of the 2 sides of your butt. Adelphi.
Butt cheeks?
No. What'd you say again?
Butt cheeks?
Oh, cheeks it is. Exactly right. Cheeks, okay. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, because it has such a thin atmosphere, and 1 day is equal to 2 of its years, what nearby planet has no seasons? Adelphi.
I think it's Mars.
Mars?
Not Mars. Carole Highlands, what planet has no seasons because it has such a thin atmosphere and 1 day is equal to 2 of its years? Give me a planet. Rima?
Mercury.
Mercury, yes, good. Go green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline science for 10 points. Everyone's talking about it. This hallucinogenic plant is now legal in Colorado. Carole Highlands?
Marijuana.
Marijuana is right, yes indeed. Go green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, what word, it's a homonym, meaning it sounds alike with 2 different spellings, can mean the body parts that let you move and the bivalve mollusks? Carole Highland? What did you want to tell me?
I passed
A kenate?
Muscular. Muscular.
Judges. Yes, we're going to give that to you. Muscle and muscle. M-U-S-C-L-E and M-U-S-S-E-L. The bivalve that you eat. The buzzer is rung. We've come to the end of the first round. We've used up all the 5 and 10 pointers. Our score, Adelphi 105, Carole Highlands 80. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Tom Selleck. In every generation, men and women have come forward to fight for freedom and defend our liberty. Over 58,000 of them are named on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Join me in supporting a new campaign to build an education center near the wall to tell their stories and teach about the values of those who have served in the past and who serve today. Learn how you can help. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for making this day so special. Dad, You've been my inspiration. I love you.
I love you too.
And Mom, I miss you so much.
Type 2 diabetes steals the lives we cherish most. But it can be prevented. Almost 80 million Americans have prediabetes, but because prediabetes doesn't always have symptoms, 9 out of 10 people who have it don't even know it. Know your risk. More importantly, do something about it. Eat better, stay active, and lose weight. You have a lot to live for. Stop diabetes for yourself and the people you love. Learn how at checkupamerica.org or talk to your doctor.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. Nice to have you here today. Two outstanding teams that have been here before and won, and today they're vying for the chance to move on in our competition. We go on to the semifinals next, where today's winner will play Bond Mill Elementary. Let's go over to Adelphi and welcome back Dalvin and Jennifer. And Rofi, who had been an alternate before, is now front and center. Welcome to the major leagues here, Rofi. Dalvin, tell our audience a little bit about Adelphi. Who's your principal?
Well, our principal is Dr. Jane Ennis.
Yes.
He's a really great person. And Adelphi is a school where we want to help kids learn. And we have fun too, but we also make our goal for us to be able to have a college degree and to go to college.
Wow, what a great commercial for Adelphi. Everybody will want to go to that school because of what you said. You're a fine young man, Dalvin, and you play well, and you're so well spoken, and I see you're a safety patrol as well. Where do you patrol at Adelphi?
Well, I take I do the flag in the mornings, and then at the end of the school I go to the door where the 6th, the 4th, the 1st, and the 3rd graders go outside. Yes.
So you're a very responsible young man. That doesn't surprise me. Before I leave you, tell me who are the alternates that you have now on your team?
We have the alternate Enya, and we have the alternate Denise.
Denise. And the sponsor of your team?
Miss Sharon and Miss Williams.
Both of them are out there, and they are nervously pacing, wishing you the best because they've put in a lot of time and effort, and we'll bring them out at the end of the show here. Jennifer, nice to have you back again. Young lady who likes to go on the internet. She learns all kinds of things. Why did you want to be on this show today?
Well, I want to be on the show because in the last 2 months, my teacher told me that, and since it had to do with science, the first thing I thought was that I really wanted to be on it because I really wanted to learn lots of new stuff so I can add to my knowledge. Absolutely right.
And not only learning things, you're sharing things that you already know, and that's being demonstrated here today. And professionally, what do you want to do someday?
Well, I'm still deciding for 3 things. I'm deciding to be an oceanographer, a zoologist, or an astronomer.
So you're going to be some kind of scientist, so you're really on the right place here today. Good to have you back. And Rofi, nice to have you here for the first time. I understand you play the piano.
Yes.
Yeah. What got you interested in the piano?
I was watching a movie about Beethoven, and that really inspired me because even though he was deaf, he was still able to play music and create amazing instrumentals.
Absolutely. Just a genius to be able to do that with that kind of disability. Do you see yourself as a professional musician someday, perhaps?
Not really.
No. What do you want to do?
I want to be a neurosurgeon.
A neurosurgeon, yeah. What got you interested in that?
I was watching the movie Gifted Hands about the life of Ben Carson,
yes,
and that inspired me I want to be a neurosurgeon.
Boy, you could do far worse than having Beethoven and Dr. Ben Carson as your role models. You chose well there, Rofi. Nice to have you here today. Let's go over to Carole Highlands. And last time you three were the alternates, and now you're all front and center, so you're new to all of us. Rima, tell us about Carole Highlands. It's over there off New Hampshire Avenue in Tacoma Park. And who's your principal?
Our principal is Ms. Holden.
And she's very much behind you in your efforts here. And you're all wearing matching shirts that say 2013-14 Science Bowl team from Carole Highlands. And your sponsor, Ms. Tuzo, did those for you. And Mr. Allen is right?
Yes.
And we will bring them out in a few moments. And who are the alternates now?
Our alternates are Shamar Lewis, David, and Lewis.
Wonderful. We'll bring them out in just a few moments with Mr. Allen and Ms. Tuzo. Tell me about Rima. What do you do in your spare time?
I do a lot of stuff in my spare time.
Yeah. And What do you want to do when you get older?
Well, my two choices are neuroscientist or neurosurgeon.
Or neurosurgeon. So you have something in common with Rofi over here. Before I leave you, Rima, what do you like about Carole Highlands? Dalvin was telling me what a great place Adelphi is. Maybe I'll go to your school. Tell me about your place.
Well, our school, the thing that's awesome about it is like our teachers care about like what you learn. They always use the phrase SOAR, which means safety, organization, accountability, and respect. And our teachers like really care about you. They always say no child left behind. They always do. And like we have after school activities which are very fun. We have many of them. And it'll just be a great place to learn something because you can learn a lot.
I'm sold. I'm coming. I'm coming over. Accountability, respect, and safety. I like that. All right. Jayla, nice to have you with us today. Why did you want to be on the Science Bowl?
Because I love science.
Boy, that's good enough for me. And you seem like you're enthused about being here. What grade are you in? Fifth grade. And what do you want to do someday?
I want to be a pastry chef.
Pastry chef. And I told her earlier, I said, boy, you should have brought some samples along today. Jalen, have you always been good in the kitchen? You like to cook? You like to bake? Mm-hmm. You like to bake. Okay. And what do you do in your spare time if you're not baking?
I mostly draw or just play with my siblings.
Yeah, just doing normal kid stuff. Absolutely right. And Akene, nice to have you with us today. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a physician doctor.
Physician doctor, okay. And what do you do in your spare time?
I read and play with my little sister, who's 2 years old. 2
years old. What's her name?
Divine.
Wow. So is she young enough to know that you're on TV? Or old enough? I don't think so. No. You're going to have to save this on YouTube, and when she gets a little older, say, see what your big brother is like, what you have to live up to, right? Yeah, good to have you here. Let's get back to our game. Carole Highlands 80, 105 for Adelphi. Lots of points to give away. Start us out, please. Rima. Okay.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, if you find a person who's cold and wet and shivering, it could be that they're suffering from what? Adelphi?
Hypothermia.
Hypothermia, absolutely right. Our doctor, Rofi Paul over here, knew that one exactly right. Good, go red.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, here we thought that spiders were exclusively carnivorous, but it turns out that 10% of their diet is eating this fine yellow dust that's produced by the anthers of a flower.
Pollen?
What is that stuff, Rima?
Pollen.
Yeah, they eat pollen. Maybe for dessert. Go, green.
Zuparate for 15.
Zuparate for 15 points. Teams, because earthworms get all of the oxygen they need by absorbing it through their skin, if you look at an earthworm, it doesn't move. Makes no movement because it has no what inside of it? Dalvin?
Bones?
Not bones. Because it takes all of the oxygen it needs through its skin, earthworms don't appear to move because they don't have any what's inside.
Muscles?
Lungs. Lungs. If they're not breathing, they don't have to breathe. Okay, lungs was the answer. Go green.
Dayline science for 15.
Dayline science for 15 points. Teams, by studying the fossils of fish, a scientist by the name of Louis Agassiz realized that the Earth had experienced a number of these as glaciers advanced and then retreated. What do we call those periods when the glaciers came down and then they went back up? Adelphi.
Ice Age.
Say it again, please.
Ice Age.
Ice Age is right. Yes, indeed. Some of you might have seen those animated movies with Manny and the mammoths and all. Ice Age movies. Go red.
Let's get physical for 15, please.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams. Roy G. Biv. It's not a man. It's a mnemonic device to help you remember the order of these in the visible spectrum. The order of what? Colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Try again, red.
Science potpourri for 15, please.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, astronomers recently found that the jet stream on one of the moons of Saturn is hexagonal, meaning it has how many sides? Adelphi.
6.
6 is right. Yes, red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. This is a cactus, and those needles on the cactus keep predators away, but also because they are shrunken versions of leaves, they keep the plant from losing too much water through what process? Rima?
Evaporation.
Yes, ma'am. Good answer. Evaporation. There's less surface area. There's less area for the water to be lost, so they can conserve it. Nicely done. Go green. 115, 150.
Daylight science for 20.
Daylight science for 20 points. Teams, it is said that President Ronald Reagan signed a treaty to reduce the amount of this kind of radiation coming from the sun because he himself had suffered from skin cancer. Skin cancer is caused by what kind of radiation from the sun?
Heat.
More specifically?
Like heat waves.
More. Give me another name, please.
Heat rays.
Not quite. Adelphi? What kind of radiation is associated with skin cancer?
UV rays.
UV rays.
UV rays, ultraviolet. That's what I wanted to hear. Nice comeback. Thank you, Jennifer. Go red.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio, if you would. Teams, this looks like a rodent. It is not. It is a rock hyrax. It lives in East Africa, and you won't believe this, but it's true. It and the manatee are the only living relatives of what large African pachyderm? An elephant. A pachyderm is an elephant. It is related to the elephant. Try again, red.
Body systems for 20, please.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams RG3, the football player, had to contend with injury this season to his ACL and his LCL. His lateral collateral and anterior cruciate what? What does the L stand for? What body part is the L? Adelphi?
Legs.
Not legs, no. Carole Highlands? Ligaments. Ligaments. Try again, red.
Let's get physical for 20, please.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams, there is a book called Uncle Tungsten, written by a scientist, Oliver Sacks, who, when London was bombed during World War II, he was so upset that he liked the order and the predictability of that chart that had all of the chemicals on. What do we call that chart where all the chemicals are listed, Adelphi?
Periodic table of elements.
PDRI table of elements.
Yes, periodic table of elements. Correct, yes. All right, good. Red. Thank you, Jennifer and Rofi, for helping Dalvin out. I don't think he quite translated what you said, but we judges will give you credit. Go red.
Science potpourri for 20, please.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, when people move from Africa to Europe and their skin lightened, they developed the ability to make this vitamin in their skin with the help of sunshine. What vitamin is it, Adelphi?
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D, absolutely right. That's why you need to go outside and play in the sun to get yourself some vitamin D. Go red.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Charles Darwin, who studied evolution, also liked plants. He and his son did experiments on something called heliotropism. Heliotropism. That's when plants do what? They turn toward the sun. Helio is a prefix meaning sun. Try red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, if you're a carnivore like a lion, you got canine teeth, and they go up and down to help tear apart a zebra. But if you're a herbivore, you have these kinds of teeth that go back and forth to grind up the grass that you eat. What kind of teeth are they? Carole Highlands. What kind of teeth, Rima? Adelphi, do you know the kind of teeth that go back and forth and grind up food? Herbivores do this to grind up their grass that they eat. Molars.
Oh.
Molars is the right answer. All right, we're down to the last four. Go red. Let's go. Let's try to get one here.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, a lot of the soldiers that lost arms and legs in the Iraq and Afghan wars now have artificial arms and legs that are known by what P initial term? An artificial arm or a leg, a P initial term. Prosthetics. Try again, red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Get physical for 25 points. Teams, we were talking about this before the show. There's so much carbon dioxide in the air that's dissolving into the ocean water that it's doing what to the pH of the ocean? Dalvin?
It's raising it?
No, it's not raising it. Carole Highlands, it's lowering it. That's the other option. By lowering it, it becomes more what?
Like, has more chemicals inside.
More specifically, it is more what kind of chemical? Acid. It's more acid. Remember, we were talking about that in the practice round. All right, 2 left. Go red.
Let's get science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, if you know geography, the Earth is divided in half, a northern and a southern. Your human brain is divided into 2 halves, left and the right. What H initial term describes both halves in brain and Earth, Adelphi?
Hemisphere.
Hemisphere. That's it. Good. 25 points. Dateline. Last question of the game. Many, many years ago, back in the 17th century, they disproved a theory by doing some controlled experiments. People back then thought that if you took rotten meat and let it sit, it would turn into a fly or a mouse. We know that doesn't happen. That was known as the theory of spontaneous what? Something that came out of nothing. Spontaneous what? What do you think, Adelphi?
Reaction.
Good try. Not spontaneous reaction. Come on, let's go out with one try here, Carole Highlands. When something comes from nothing. Spontaneous what?
Well,
generation. Spontaneous generation. All right, we've come to the end of our show. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't go away.
Hello? Hello? I've been on the street for a while. I saw your poster outside. I don't know what to do.
National Runaway Switchboard, how can I help? Call 1-800-RUNAWAY to make the connection.
Wow, we had some tough questions in that game. There was a lot of silence, but that did not take away from the great competition and the skill of these 6 young people, which acquitted themselves so well. We're proud of all of them. Our final tally is Carole Highlands 115, Adelphi 235. You're going to the semifinals. We'll see you against Bond Mill. Let's give them a hand. Rofi and Dalvin and Jennifer. And back there we have Enya and Denise and Miss Williams, a.k.a. the Pacer. I know she's relieved. Miss Shern, thank you for all you've done. Akene and Rima and Jalen, you came out cold and you did a great job. And Miss Tuzo and Mr. Allen, thank you for giving everybody a chance to play here. Our shadow team back there, Shamar and David and Lewis, congratulations. We love those shirts. We love you guys too. We'll see you next time on the Science Bowl. Bye-bye.